2020, as we all know, was a challenging year, not just because of the pandemic, but because of racial unrest. And now the Washoe County Sheriff's Office is holding diversity, equity, and inclusion training. Paul Nelson explains why the Sheriff's Office is holding these classes.
Protests and riots shook the country last year. The death of George Floyd reignited issues of race and law enforcement.
Law enforcement and peace officers are in a horrible position right now in our country because the giant blanket is being thrown over them for incidents that are happening across the country.
That's why Sheriff Darren Balaam asked Diaz Dixon to teach diversity, equity, and inclusion to Washoe County Sheriff's Office employees.
Why do I believe what I believe? When was the last time you really asked yourself that? You didn't, probably.
Dixon has already held 12 classes for this agency. About 6 more are needed until every employee gets the training.
There are so many things that are going on in our community, as well as our state and our country, that are just due for uncomfortable conversations.
Conversations that many are apprehensive about. After all, talking about race and ethnicity in the workplace is often considered taboo.
For many years here, it felt like you couldn't have the conversation. If you did, you were either complaining if you were a minority or you're inappropriate if you weren't.
But racial discussions are encouraged here. There may be disagreements, but they can talk them out.
There were people in the class that shared stories that were eye-opening and things that I didn't realize about people that I know.
The class also encouraged people to look within themselves and recognize their own biases.
It's really important for the Sheriff's Office to understand these when they're interacting with the community because they're the heart of our community.
Covering the story, Paul Nelson, 2 News.
And people we spoke to say they left with a positive feeling today, but know that these conversations are just a starting point, and the goal is to keep talking long after that training is over.